Good morning. I'm ready to start my day with a toasted bagel, a cup of coffee, and a new desk arrangement. I've decided to start a morning drawing habit. What I mean by that is before I start my tasks for the day, I will do a 10 or 15-minute drawing session. This is an opportunity to practice skills, to warm up, and to gain drawing confidence. I could draw some hand poses, or study another artist's work, or maybe sketch out some perspective. It's up to me. Somewhat strangely, I have developed a kind of fear of drawing for myself, and I think that I simply don't draw enough. Not drawing enough is a long-standing habit of mine. Interestingly, I don't feel afraid to draw at jobs or in courses. It's a fear of doing art for myself. It's super weird to be scared to do something that you love to do, but this is the situation I find myself in. Maybe you can relate. There are several reasons I think that have colluded to culminate in this fear of making art, but at least partially, this fear intensified during the COVID lockdowns because of my personal and work situation. One thing that happened to me during the lockdowns was that I started a hand-drawn animation job that I wasn't quite ready for, and of course it was remote, and I had to leave a job to take on this new one, which I didn't really want to do. I actually agonized over the choice to stay or not at the job that I had, and I asked my boss if I could take a 4-month leave and come back. But I was told I couldn't do that. So I quit, and at my new job, I struggled, alone essentially, and I ended up getting demoted. It was devastating. Maybe it doesn't seem fair to say that I was alone, but when I did ask for help at work, I was not given the support I needed. And I didn't get to see my coworkers. I was sitting in an office by myself. I think that some of my fear of drawing came out of that situation. And even today, as I started to think about doing some hand studies, I could feel the fear. It's a fear of starting, I think. And I think it's a fear of showing my work later. I worry about looking bad in front of the world and not being good enough and looking like I don't know what I'm doing. I start to worry that I'm wasting time and I should just get back to actual work. Fortunately, once I start drawing, I enjoy it. The hard part seems to be getting started and going for long periods of time. I'd say as well, it's also difficult to keep drawing many days in a row. Like maybe I'll draw for a day or two, but it's hard to keep that going. I'm going to start with 10 minutes a day. First thing I do every morning, and I'm going to reassess in the future. Good morning, it's day 2 of my drawing study habit. I needed to do some studies of characters from Turning Red for a storyboard assignment, so I figured I would do that first thing in the morning and make that part of my study habit. Again, I felt resistance in terms of getting started. I didn't find that I felt fearful today, but rather a lack of urgency. Feeling a lack of urgency is a whole other problem. I don't know how many days it's going to take for me to feel comfortable doing this every morning, but I'm going to start with 3 days. and good morning, it's day 3. This morning I felt pleased with myself and like celebrating. And this was before I even did my daily study. And then when I sat down at my desk, I just forgot to do it. I ended up going right in on some storyboard homework instead. I was on a roll with the homework and feeling accomplished, and so I kept at that until around 5 p.m. I did my study after that. I decided that I really need to study some perspective and cityscapes because it's not something I've practiced enough, and now that I'm doing storyboarding, I really feel the need to improve on backgrounds and perspective. I've noticed that a big chunk of time for these studies ends up going towards gathering reference material to do the studies. It's probably a good idea to find some resources online that have drawing material already gathered together. I think Pinterest is going to come in handy for that. Or maybe I should just do image searches and be less picky about what I draw. Actually, now that I think about it, I have a lot of art books that are just chock full of great images that I could be studying. Actually, I think drawing from life is a great idea as well. Why not sit down at breakfast and sketch a few items around me? Well, I made it. 3 days of a new habit. It's not much, but I needed to start somewhere. At this point, I want to keep going, and I think I can handle 10 minutes a day. I want to keep doing this for a long time. By making this video, I'm keeping myself accountable, and I'm going to document my progress moving forward. As I record this part here, it's now day 4. I did my daily study today, and interestingly, I didn't feel any fear or resistance. In fact, I looked forward to my little study, so that's pretty exciting. I'm not saying that I've transformed my life, but this is turning out to be a really good exercise for me. I think the fact that it's turning into a ritual is something I'm excited about. It lets me look forward to the activity of drawing, and I feel like I can rely on the experience. It feels great. I know I need to keep going with the habit. I don't want my brain to trick me into feeling like I've done a good job after only 3 or 4 days. I know I need to keep going. If you have any particular websites you use for drawing study, please share those in the comments. I would love to see suggestions, and I'm sure other artists would love to see them as well. Please like this video if you found it relatable or inspiring. Let me know what you're going through right now and if you can relate to the fear of committing yourself to a project or a habit that you want to do. Thank you so much for watching and listening.